Hey guys, it's Tricky Nick here. I don't exactly remember how it happened, but at some point in my ownership of a DS Lite, I was given Mario Kart DS by my parents, and I was thrilled. My friends and I always had a ball playing the game together on long car rides, and we didn't all even have to bring the game in order to play it. Can't say the same these days thanks to Nintendo. But even when my friends weren't around to play, I also had the mission mode in single player, or if I was feeling especially feisty, I'd ask my parents to take me to the public library. There, I would play some races online, which was the first time it was ever possible in a Nintendo game, and my little pea-brain was so astonished by the fact that I could play with anyone in the world. I would also find other kids in the public library that brought their DS Lites, and we would play together and give each other tips and tricks on unlocking karts and characters. That's actually how I found out Rob was even in the game. But as time went on, Nintendo eventually came out with Mario Kart Wii and the popularity of DS began to fade. By the time Mario Kart 8 came out, it was all but a piece of childhood nostalgia for many Nintendo fans. But not me. I've pretty much been playing the game on and off ever since it was released. It breaks up the monotony of Mario Kart 8 for me and is good fun. I didn't think that the 8 in Mario Kart 8 stood for the number of years we wouldn't get a mainline sequel for. Anyways, when I asked you guys what your favorite Mario Kart game was, to my surprise, almost none of you said Mario Kart DS. So this led me to wonder, is Mario Kart DS truly a smash hit and my nostalgia blindness served me well? Or was I wrong and should I trash it? Join me today as I take a look back at Mario Kart DS to decide if it's truly the best Mario Kart or if I've put it on a pedestal for all these years. Mario Kart DS began development early in the lifespan of the DS, and most of its assets were initially taken from its predecessor, Mario Kart Double Dash. Professor Egad, Birdo, and Shy Guy were all planned to be in the base roster of the game, but they were either cut, replaced, or repurposed in the final release of the game. Along with that, there were a few courses that didn't end up getting used, but none of them are wildly unique from what we saw in the game. For example, Test Circle, get this, is a circle. Along with that, almost all the karts created in development had little to no changes done to them except for Wario's Brood. The early version is totally different than what we got in the final game, and I honestly think they're both unique enough to be used as karts. Other than that though, that's about all we know about the development of Mario Kart DS. But how did Mario Kart DS fare after it was released to the world? Being made in 2005 and put into a Cheez-It-sized cartridge, the graphics of Mario Kart DS are rather dated. Everything is very blocky, but since I grew up with this, it's not a huge issue for me. Unfortunately, many who didn't grow up with this are disgusted by Waluigi's pointy elbows and the 2D items. And what the heck did they do to Daisy? So overall, Mario Kart DS's graphics are in pretty rough shape and they didn't age very well, but maybe the roster will make up for it. The roster of Mario Kart DS is rather concise. We only have 8 characters from the get-go, and it's a copy of the Mario Kart 64 roster. Nothing too crazy, but it gets the job done. While as I said before, these models are pretty blocky, this style reminds me of my childhood, so the rose-tinted glasses kinda make this a non-issue. Wait just a minute here though, there are 4 other unlockable characters too. And this is where the roster really picks up. Dry Bones replaces Koopa Troopa to make his first ever appearance, and I honestly prefer Dry Bones here. Imagine being worse than your corpse. He looks a lot cooler than Koopa Troopa and is bad to the bone driving around in a tank. Also, the fact that Dry Bones is here and Koopa Troopa isn't makes the roster feel more obscure and unique. Daisy is also an unlockable character, and as a Super Mario Land fan, this makes me really happy. Then there's Waluigi, who is not only one of my favorite Mario Kart characters, but a fan favorite loved by many. Shy Guy was also a playable character here, but only if you didn't have the game and you were using DS Download Play. I guess Nintendo thought Shy Guy was some sort of punishment, which is pretty mean to assume, and really isn't the case. Poor little fella. So overall, Mario Kart DS's roster is small, but to the point. Nintendo knew they were going to have to sacrifice some characters due to the less powerful hardware, but they still delivered on making a solid roster. But there's one more character that I haven't mentioned yet. Do you remember the video game crash of 1983 that led Nintendo to creating Rob the Robot to market the NES as a toy rather than a video game console in an effort to save gaming as we know it? Yeah, me neither, but for some crazy reason, Nintendo decided to add Rob the Robot into Mario Kart 30 years after he was relevant. This is definitely a perplexing addition, and it'll make you say what the heck. But personally though, I am a huge fan of this addition, and it elevates the roster so much. Rob is such a unique character, and it's the icing on the cake for the small but well-crafted roster. Guess you could say Rob saved gaming and Mario Kart DS from just having an okay roster. He's just saving things left and right. The addition of Rob began the trend of adding bizarre characters to Mario Kart games as well, which is usually my favorite part of Mario Kart rosters. It's how we ended up with the unofficial face of Mario Kart, Funky Kong. So I guess we have Rob to thank for that too. Well, at this point, many people are used to being able to choose a kart, tires, and glider before beginning a race. Mario Kart DS keeps it old school. You're given a few preset karts for each character, and you pick from those, no ifs, ands, or buts. I actually prefer this method of kart choice. All the karts look great, and there are so many unique things Nintendo did with them. To name a few, the Poltergust 4000 is an amazing reference to Luigi's Mansion, the Hurricane is a literal plane that Bowser can drive, and the Dry Bomber is a tank. A tank! No matter what, I almost always go with the tank just because it's so cool. Unless, of course, I'm recording a YouTube video and I want to have a good variety of gameplay. Anyways, this method of kart selection not only allows Nintendo to make every kart look aesthetically pleasing, but you don't have to use Waluigi with roller tires to stand a chance against every other racer. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. You're even able to access every kart with every character once you've placed first in 150cc mirror, which is a huge plus. The only issue I have with the karts is the way the stats were done. For starters, I don't really like the fact that a kart can affect your item luck. It was an interesting concept and I commend Nintendo for trying to innovate Mario Kart, but ultimately, it was a swing and a miss. Also, karts that seem like they would have better stats, have worse stats, and vice versa. For example, the B-Dasher is arguably the most iconic kart in Mario Kart history. Well, this one is actually slower than Mario's other kart, the Shooting Star. Overall, I think Mario Kart DS had it right when it comes to kart selections, but I think they botched the stats a little bit. But how are the courses that we drive these karts on? Mario Kart DS was the first game to feature what we recognize as true retro tracks. Super Circuit did technically do it first, but Mario Kart DS did it in a much better way. This game included tracks from Super Mario Kart, Mario Kart 64, Mario Kart Super Circuit, and Mario Kart Double Dash. Each Retro Grand Prix featured a track from one of these games, and the selection is... well, let's just say this isn't the strong part of the course lineup. SNES tracks aged like radium water, which really brings down all these Grand Prix, as Nintendo put one SNES track in each. That was a pretty poor choice, because most of these other courses are pretty great otherwise. Except for Baby Park, that is. Look how they massacred my boy. But then, there are the Nitro courses, and oh boy are they great. There is not a single bad course in here. Figure 8 Circuit is a simple introduction to the game, and it's far from the best the game has to offer, but it's not bad. Yoshi Falls is pretty much the same, it's just kind of an inoffensive track. But it's all uphill from there. Desert Hills isn't a particularly popular course among fans, but I personally love desert-themed tracks, and you've got the angry sun flying around throwing fire at you to make it some more fun. Luigi's Mansion. Do I even need to say that I'm a fan at this point? So many courses also reference popular Mario games, like Airship Fortress from Super Mario Bros. 3, which is super cool, Mario Circuit and Tick-Tock Clock from Mario 64, and Delfino Plaza from Mario Sunshine. Even the renditions of Bowser's Castle and Rainbow Road seen here are super unique. There are winding ramps and spinning wheels of spikes in Bowser's Castle, and the fun loops of Rainbow Road too. Even the songs that go with these tracks are fast-paced, catchy, and fun. But then there's what many may consider the magnum opus of not only Mario Kart DS, but the Mario Kart franchise as a whole. Waluigi Pinball. It was a great idea to make a track take place inside of a pinball machine, and it has a unique soundtrack and sound effects to go with it. If you ignore Wario Stadium, that is. This is easily one of my favorite tracks in the Mario Kart series. However, I do have a critique of the course that I think most people tend to overlook. The part at the end of the lap where we need to dodge pinballs is a bit too easy. 9 times out of 10, I'm able to simply drive straight and avoid everything. This section of the course could have definitely benefited from a more complex obstacle or maybe some faster pinballs to make it perfect. It is still pretty darn great though. Overall, I'd say the courses in Mario Kart DS are fan-flippin-tastic. Mario Kart DS is just like any other old Mario Kart game. You drive around the track thrice and hope your placement is nice. But there were also some additions made to spice it up a bit, namely in the item area. The bullet bill was introduced in Mario Kart DS, and it's probably become the most valuable item to have when you're behind in a race. The blooper was also introduced here, and it's not nearly as useful unless you're playing against actual people and not CPUs who are barely affected. Even in some cases where you're playing against real players, it doesn't really help a lot. But regardless, both of these items became staples of the Mario Kart franchise and added to the randomness of Mario Kart. But there was another new aspect of gameplay here too, one that wasn't intended: the drifting. To drift in Mario Kart DS, you need to waggle the D-pad back and forth to get a more powerful boost, rather than holding a certain direction and waiting for the boost to build up. This allows players to do what's known as snaking. If you can wiggle, waggle, waggle, jaggle the D-pad fast enough, you can pretty much constantly drift in a course without stopping. This skill can take years to master though, and it's rather controversial. Personally, as an elite Mario Kart DS player, snaking gives me some mixed feelings. It makes the balance of skill and luck a little more centered towards skill, which gives me an advantage as a veteran player. If I'm investing a lot of time into the game though, I'm glad it pays off to be skilled. However, when it gets to the point that people don't want to play the game because they're simply being outskilled no matter what items they get and what they can do, that's when it begins to bother me. I definitely wouldn't want this mechanic to come back in future entries in the franchise. It kinda ruins the fun of Mario Kart when the playing field becomes this uneven. With most Mario Kart games, you're getting Grand Prix, Time Trial, Versus Race, and Battle Mode. Mario Kart DS is no different in this regard. Grand Prix and Versus Races are some good old Mario Kart fun, and Time Trials allow the sweatiest of players to cut their times down as low as they please. Battle Mode may only have 2 modes, but it uses unique mechanics such as blowing on the DS microphone to blow up more balloons for yourself. As for new things, a custom emblem maker was added to make logos for your racers to have on their karts. This would have been a pretty good idea, but then they also added an online mode, which is a total recipe for disaster. However, the online mode was pretty impressive at the time and lots of fun despite the genitalia plastered on karts. But where Mario Kart DS stands out is that for the first time ever in a mainline Mario Kart game, a mission mode was added. This single player mode provides the player with 7 worlds worth of levels and boss fights to complete. These levels included objectives such as driving through gates, collecting coins, driving backwards, racing CPUs, and many more. Boss fights were all characters from Super Mario 64 DS, and it's exhilarating to fight bosses in a Mario Kart game. This mode is yet to return to this day, and that infuriates me. This mode has so much potential to be even better than it already was, yet Nintendo just opts to add DLC courses to games that they made almost a decade ago. And people say there are no ideas for new content. There could literally be a story mode. Oh well, I guess that just makes Mario Kart DS all the more appealing to come back to. So before I reach my decision, let's recap. Mario Kart DS is a graphically challenged game with a lot of ambition. The roster is small but features everyone you'd expect as well as some bizarre new additions. The kart customization is limited to only preset karts, so trying to design an aesthetically pleasing kart with good stats isn't an issue. However, making the item RNG specific to certain karts is an awful mechanic. Retro courses were introduced for the first time here, and while they weren't the greatest choices, the Nitro tracks picked up the slack. The gameplay was pretty similar to previous entries, with the addition of some now classic items and the very controversial snaking strategy. Finally, Mario Kart DS was the first to ever feature online play and a mission mode in the mainline series, and both are, or were, in the case of the online mode, lots of fun. So, how does Mario Kart DS stack up? Is it a smash hit and does my nostalgia blindness serve me well? Or was I wrong and I should trash it? Do I even need to say it? Despite a few issues I found when taking a critical eye to the game, Mario Kart DS is still a smash hit. Even if you see this game as a half-decent Mario Kart game, which it's not, there's just so much unique about it that you can't help but loving. It's got Rob in the roster, a custom emblem maker, I should never have that much power, and a fantastic mission mode that is the only one in the mainline series. I haven't even had to mention the fact that this game is portable because it holds up as well as some of the console titles. Overall, Mario Kart DS is still my favorite Mario Kart, and the amount of heart put into it is unmatched by any modern title. Let me know what you think of Mario Kart DS, and until next time, I'll be snaking around Waluigi Pinball in a tank.